problems. Here we have theta in quadrant 2, and we know that the secant of theta is given as -7/5. So being in quadrant number 2 means we are left and up. We are left and we are up. So left and up means that our triangle is going to look something like this. Now the secant is the hypotenuse over the adjacent. Hypotenuse over adjacent. So the hypotenuse, we're going to give that value of 7. Hypotenuses are always positive in these situations. And the adjacent side is going to get that negative, so it's going to be -5 down here. Notice that's consistent because it is to the left, so expect that to be negative. Now how about the missing side, the vertical side? Well, let's use a Pythagorean theorem to find that. So a squared, -5 squared, plus b squared should be equal to 7 squared. So 25 plus b squared would be equal to 49. So b squared looks like it's going to be a 24. So that side b over here on the left, let's see, 24 breaks down into a 4, 6. So for politeness sake, I'm just going to write this as a 2 radical 6. Right? Radical 24 or 2 radical 6. Okay, now as we bring this information together, notice it is positive, though it is going up. It is the y value that is positive, so that's a positive 2 rad 6. And I'm now going to take this and put it into our 6 trig functions. So the sine of theta is opposite over hypotenuse. Opposite is 2 rad 6 over hypotenuse 7. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, -5 over 7. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. So I'm going to get 2 rad 6 over -5. 2 rad 6 over -5. For the reciprocal functions, we reciprocate. 7 over 2 rad 6. Next one is 7 over -5, consistent with the information over here. And the cotangent is -5 over 2 rad 6. So that completes that triangle, that situation. So why don't you pause the video and see if you can do this next one on your own. Suppose we have theta being in quadrant 3 and that the cosecant of theta is equal to -3. So quadrant 3 means left and down, left and down. So we're going to go left and we're going to go down, so that way we're in quadrant 3. Mark an angle over here, that's our theta. And the cosecant is the hypotenuse over the opposite. The hypotenuse over the opposite. So the hypotenuse here would have to be 3, and the opposite would have to be -1, because remember, -3 is the same as -3 over 1, which really the way that I'm using it here is as a 3 over -1, because my hypotenuse is always going to be positive. Okay, what's that missing side? What's my b? Well, a squared, -1 squared, plus b squared must be equal to 3 squared, which is 9. So 1 plus b squared equals 9, and b squared must be equal to 8. So b is going to be, let's see, 8 factors into a 4 and a 2. So I'm going to call this 2 radical 2. But be careful, we are in quadrant 3. So since we're in quadrant 3, b is going to be a -2 rad 2 because it had to be moving to the left. Okay, but now we're ready to start filling in our information. Let's do an orange this time. So sine opposite over hypotenuse, -1 over 3. Cosine adjacent over hypotenuse, -2 rad 2 over 3. Tangent opposite over adjacent. Notice they're both negative, so I'm going to cancel out the negatives and just write that one as a 1 over a 2 rad 2. For the reciprocal functions, we reciprocate. -1 over 3, reciprocal is 3 over -1. Yay! Secant is 3 over -2 rad 2, and the cotangent is going to be a 2 rad 2 over 1, because it's the reciprocal of the first one.